What was it like working in the hospital as a doctor at the time of the pandemic and at the time of the big waves? So in this video, I would like to share some of my experiences so that you will get a better insight. My name is Dr. Patrick Nuernberger. I work as a physician in Austria, and on my social media channels, I teach about medicine and medical stuff. If you like my videos, if you like my channels, please feel free to subscribe and comment your questions and DM me if you wish. So jumping right into the topic, I have to say that times have been pretty much different during the past few years, I would say. So there have been times, especially those during the big waves. Now we are in the midst of the beginning of the third wave, so we had a big first and a big second wave, and some time to take some deep breath in between. But in those times of the big waves, things were getting pretty rough. It mostly depended on where you were working at that time. So if you were working on a COVID ward or in an ICU, you would see many patients, many ill patients, and you would have hard times because there was a lot of patients, there was not enough staff because most of the staff was sick or in quarantine as well. So that made it pretty much very difficult to work at that time. And also with all the PPE, so your personal protection equipment going on, if you have to wear more than the mask, which is too much for most people if you read through the comments in social media. So if you have to wear all of the PPE, meaning being covered in a full bodysuit and a mask and a shield and glasses and so on and so forth, and this for, let's say, 8, 12, or even more hours, that's not easy. That's not fun, believe me. So during the past year, I've worked different wards. So I've been COVID wards, I've been non-COVID wards. So I have to say that in those areas where COVID was not the main topic, so mostly all specialties out of internal medicine, life was even easier than before. But why is that? The reason is that, well, we did not treat as many patients as we used to because we were looking at our resources and we decided that the resources should be kept available if we needed them for COVID patients. So that is why a lot of elective surgery was postponed, a lot of elective other stuff was just not done for months. This is going to be a problem in the future, and I do not know how we will solve that problem, because if you do not perform certain surgeries or certain diagnostic things for months, people still need those things, and we will have to perform them later on. But there's new patients coming in needing those things in the meantime. So I'm not quite sure how this will work out, but that is a problem for the future, so let's not focus on that right now. The thing is, this made it even, I would say, doable in those areas that were not mainly covered with COVID-19 patients. Of course, you also had COVID-19 patients in other specialities, but apart from the big waves, there were not that many, and in the waves also, you could mostly turf COVID-19 patients to internal medicine. So that was easy life going on from time to time, especially in those times in between the waves. We had a good life there because not much was done. I wouldn't say nothing, that's not true, but definitely not as much as usually. So there was time again for coffee breaks, for talking to your colleagues, That was nice. For talking to your patients, those few that were there, and to make deep thoughts about your patients and their medical history. That was a nice experience. And due to the stress of normal day medical life, me and other colleagues, we did not know that in this extent. So that was very interesting to see, in my opinion. Right now, we are going to see a third big wave, probably. Numbers are rising from day to day. And we are faced with some mutations that are more contagious and probably will cause more severe diseases of COVID-19. So we will see how this third wave will work out. I am pretty sure as of today that in 1, 2, 3 weeks, we will probably be at that point that we have seen in the second wave, where in parts of my country, ICUs were collapsing, COVID wards were collapsing. So that's not a good thing. And there's still so many people out there believing that COVID does not exist, or that it is just a common cold, that it doesn't do anything to people. And that makes me sad, probably a little angry. I mean, I'm trying to be stoic, so that's all right. But, it's frustrating. If you're working in healthcare, you see what happens. You see the patients who die, and those who do not die, they suffer, and some of them get long COVID, so they get problems for months after the disease. And there's still people out there saying they're not willing to wear a mask or to get a vaccine just because they believe it is not true. It's all just a scam. It's all just governments, politics, whoever, whatever, trying to trick people. And that's not the case. I want to tell you that right now, that is not the case. In the near future, you will be able to visit COVID wards and ICUs again that will be near collapse or even collapsing. We were so close in the second wave. So if this wave is getting just a little bigger, numbers just a little higher, there was no more space in front of the collapse. So if we see just slightly higher numbers, there is going to be a problem. And we will see pictures here, like we saw them during the first wave in Italy or France. And we do not want to see those pictures, do we? So I'm not sure what we should do. I am quite sure that we are going into a lockdown again in the next few weeks. I highly doubt that we can go through with it without it. So people, of course, hope for the seasonal effect because spring is around the corner. But the seasonal effect is, well, it's not as high as people want it to be. So it's about, depends on the literature, about 20%. And that's not nothing, I give you that. But it's definitely not enough to stop a huge wave. So I am afraid we will need another lockdown. I hate it as well as you do. I do not want to go into another lockdown. I want to visit my gym. I want to go swimming. But, well, what should we do? We have to stick together. We all have to get vaccinated. So there has been in the past few weeks, the past months, there's been so many misinformation out there, fake news, a lot of stuff going on about the Astrazeneca vaccine, which is way better than everybody thinks it is. Some countries even stopped vaccinating Astrazeneca, but not out of medical issues, but because of political decisions. And I do think that this is a very bad decision that has happened. Some people also claim that this is like the punchback to AstraZeneca for not providing as many vaccines as they promised to do, so that there is a political punchback. Well, I'm not sure if that is true. As there's only humans in politics, I would not say that this is absolutely not true, but I don't know. Fact is, there's no danger coming from Astrazeneca. There has been some cases, but it's more like covering the background incidents of like thrombosis or whatsoever, or pulmonary embolism. So I do not see a connection there yet. Of course, there's more studies being performed, and that is good, but there's not so many cases that I would say we need to be afraid at all. Maybe we will find a link in certain specific cases that may be, I'm not sure, but definitely not for a general population and for a lot of people being in danger of seeing severe side effects. That is just not the case. Mild side effects, yes, a lot of people see them, fever and not feeling well for 1 or 2 days, that is true. So we have to live with that, but that should be it. And I do not want to talk in extent about vaccines in this video. That's not the topic. It's just, I want to say again that AstraZeneca is just better than, well, people believe. And whichever vaccine you're able to get it. That's what I want to say. They're all good. They're all safe. And they all are going to help us fight this pandemic. And now being at the start of third wave, at the beginning of spring, which we were definitely not hoping to happen, but it does happen, makes me kind of thinking what will be the course of the next year. So in summer, after the third wave, we will be, well, at the beginning of summer probably. I hope that there will be a plateau or a baseline again. And I do think that during autumn, we will see rising numbers again. So that is important to note, that we need a lot of people to be vaccinated until this point, until the end of summer or the middle of summer. I don't know if we will achieve that. Everyone is working on that, but we need to make sure that people trust those vaccines, that they want to be vaccinated. And this is one of the key points in the fight of this pandemic. So as you can see, life in the hospital as a doctor was kind of a roller coaster ride, depending on where you were and at what time of the pandemic you were in, meaning at the waves or in between waves. We will see how all of this continues. I hope that you got a little insight, that you liked this little insight. If you liked it, if you like my videos, please follow my channels, leave a like, comment if you have any questions, or if you want to add something. I also would like to know what you are thinking about this topic. I'm always up for discussions and discourse, so let me know and I will try to answer. Yeah, that is it for today. And until the next video, stay safe and stay healthy.